Okay, it's 6:01. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Library Building Committee meeting. We will call it to order. We have minutes, old business from June 4th.
So moved.
Move for approval by Mr. Ike. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Berman. Right in sync here. Anybody have corrections and so forth? Patrick?
Mr. Chair, yes, thank you, sir. Just some real minor things on page 2. The second bullet under Anthony's update on Prosser, that second sentence, water is currently on in 4. I think just a little clarification there.
Trick out in.
Yeah, so nothing major there. And then on page 8 of 8, future meetings, we should include today's meeting in the last agenda or the last minutes. So June 18th would be the
correct.
future meeting. Yeah. And then the July and the August.
You are correct.
Thank you. That's all I have, Chair.
Anybody else? Right, all in favor of approving the minutes as corrected, please say aye.
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 We are unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, reports. Let us, I have nothing for new business, so let's go right to Anthony's here and
Solo tonight, baby.
Scott is here.
There he is.
That's the Downs team. Anthony, it's all yours.
All righty, everybody. Let me share my screen. Do it. Oh boy. All righty, standard agenda, just a couple general items here. First and foremost, Van Zelm continues to review installed MEP systems. We're waiting to finish up our testing and balancing of the air duct system. Once we're done with that, Van Zelm will continue to show up the site, making sure everything is running efficiently as possible. We have some big news here. We have the NFPA 13 signed off, fully executed document for the fire protection lines. We have the NFPA 72 for the fire alarm, signed off and executed by the building official and fire marshal. We have our concrete compliance letter, and we have our elevator state certificate. We have all those formally received. We have passed those on to Dwight. We are still working on our letter of substantial completion and our special inspections through MHA. Those all need to be in order for us to get our C of O. All right, but those are some big time documents that we got finalized and over to the town for record that allowed us to get our TCO. Going down the list, as you can see, everything is starting to shrink up. Tasks are getting taken off the list that are completed. The daily tasks out on site are continuing to dwindle down. So we do have some fine grading and completing in the paver band forms within the plaza area, as you could see. Topsoil is continuing to be spread out at Prosser where we can. Final ductwork air balancing, like I just spoke about, will be completed this week along with the ductwork cleaning, followed by the building air flush procedure plan. HVAC control and final tie-ins are pretty much 99% complete. Minor programming left to be done. Millwork ceiling panels and doors within the community room have started. And acoustical ceiling pads within the garage have been done and completed. And we are continuing to work on punch list items, taking those off the list. We've gone through ourselves, created a punch list. Jeff, I believe, is going to be in there next week doing his punch list. So we're going to continue to knock those items off the list and continue to make progress there. Riley lot, really not much to say here. The landscaping's done, the bridge is in, the IP decking's down on the ramp. The rails are in, the lights are up. Last thing we need to do is pave and line stripe. We do have a dumpster enclosure that we will be putting in and finishing up some other miscellaneous site furnishings there. But really not much left on Riley. That soil has been removed from the site. So I'm just waiting on a final weight ticket from the disposal facility on that. But that's really it. I mean, we are coming down to the end here. Again, it's a lot of punch list and it's a lot of finishing of items, you know, such as the ceilings within the community room, the doors, and so on and so forth.
Questions for Anthony on progress? Patrick?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Anthony, a couple of questions for you. So I thought the pouring of the plaza was supposed to have started by now, and nothing is being done there. I don't see anything.
We are, if you take a look out there, the wood's down for the forming
Yeah,
of the
but
actual.
that's been there for a while now.
paver
Why
bands.
aren't they?
Well,
Why aren't they like pouring it? Well, but we've had days where it didn't rain. I don't understand that, I think.
Right, the plaza should be all done and poured, I believe this week and next week. Then we have the mason coming in, the end of June to put the actual stone
pavers.
pavers down.
Okay, so there's not like another issue. It's just.
It's just taking time. There's a lot of,
Seems like
correct.
it's delayed.
Patrick, I kind of felt the same way, 'cause
Ye-
it seems to be going very slowly, but,
Yeah.
but the form work is really a double effort. It's,
Mm.
they had a form for the concrete under the paving bands. Now they have to reform for the concrete. It's not all just one set of forms, which I
Right.
learned during the week.
Okay.
So that's why we also have another change order for like the phase 2 of this,
Part two of that.
of the form work. Yeah, so it's a tremendous amount of work to do the two separately. Well, and they
Okay.
have to be done separately, the paver bands and the concrete.
Okay.
So,
Well,
yeah, I
that
was
makes
kind
more
of like,
sense. Yeah.
let's get on with the plaza
I
already,
know,
right?
I know.
Right? But
That's why, we try to push the plaza and, what threw us all off was the reforming and pouring of those stairs 2 times.
Right. Yeah, that took a while. And speaking of those stairs, are the railings, when will the railings be installed?
I
on
know
those?
the Wagner railings on the ramp should be in and done. I believe they should be 2 on the stairs, if they're not up already. I haven't been out there. They're
Yeah,
not.
I didn't see.
They should be ready to go unless Jason has a plan to wait until the plaza concrete's done and then put those rails up.
as of today, they were up on the ramp, but not on the.
Right. Okay, so my other question is, like the topsoil and everything in the front of the building on the other side of the ramp. I mean, why isn't that done? I mean, what is the holdup on completing the front of the building there?
I don't have an answer for that really.
Yeah,
right
I
now.
mean, the side looks to be mostly done. I mean, it's not finalized with the paving, and that road is very twisty. Did you look at that road? It's like,
On the north side?
yeah, I mean, it's like all kinds of curves in there. I don't think anybody should be using that road except for people that have to actually go in there. I mean, I don't think the public should be using that road.
What road are you referring to? You mean the driveway?
Are you talking
On
about the
this-
driveway into the north side of the garage?
The driveway on the other side of the building, I don't know if it's north, off of Tungus. So if you're coming off of Tungus, there's a road and it's twisting and turning and it goes down into the garage from that side.
Yes, north side. Yeah.
And I don't understand why that road is so twisty and turny, but I guess that's neither here nor there. But I just think why wasn't it just straight down and turn into the garage?
That made to keep people's speed down, maybe?
No, I think we could take a look at it.
Yeah,
I
I
think there
mean-
was design issues.
Yeah, because I
How
don't,
much space there was, and I know it takes a little bit of a turn at its entrance, right at Tungus, but that's because it's a one-way out,
yeah.
so.
I
you
know it's a
can't-
one-way out
Yeah.
and we got to make sure people know that they can't be turning in that way.
Pretty sure there's signs.
There's got to be a sign, no
We have
entry.
signs all over the place when we did the sign presentation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, last thing is on the top of the roof, in the front of the building, there's some kind of ladder structure. Why is that there? I mean, that is really that really obstructs your view. When you look at that building, it's gorgeous. And then you see this metal rack that's
there's
like
an
a
access.
ladder.
Yes, I know
I
there's
can-
an
I can
access
probably answer
ladder at that south side.
Okay, so can't that be moved some other place on the roof? I mean, that's, Jeff, I don't know what you guys think of
Well,
that, but
there needs to be access to the roof.
yeah, but
the
from
south,
there
from the high roof
to the lower roof.
down to the lower roof.
Okay.
So it either
okay.
is going to be on the east side or the south side. Jeff?
Okay,
can you
I
comment on
just
that?
think
Yeah,
that
so
really,
basically the way to get up on the roof, and it's a lot to do, there's many things to deal with. Since we wanted to utilize as much space in the building, we didn't have access hatches, which took up a lot of space, say in closets or in data rooms or whatever like that. So the idea is to get out on the mechanical mezzanine out there with your tools, then you use the ladder to get up on the high roof. And then once you're on the high roof, if you need to get on the lower roofs, we have to have OSHA requires you to have 2 ladders to get down to the lower roof. So irregardless of any hatchways inside, that whole band around the perimeter is all mainly a two-story space. I think there is a corridor on the second floor, but the ladders are required by OSHA, and they're the way to get once you're out there with all your dirty equipment and tools and everything, so we're not contaminating the inside of the library. If that makes sense.
I mean, I understand all of that, and I certainly know you need a way to do that, but the location of it, I mean, it's right there. I mean, you just see that immediately.
You know, of all the places around the perimeter of the roof,
Yeah.
it's probably in its best place. And as
Yeah,
far as
because it's
visual,
away
but
from the it's away from the corner. Yeah, the whole idea was to push them away from the corner, the plaza, push them away.
Yeah.
can you look at possibly if it should be, if they could be a different color to help them disappear? Because usually those
I
things
was
do
just-
disappear over time, you know, with
Well, I
trees in
did-
the background and
You
clouds.
know,
and
I did, yeah, I did send an email thinking about that to Anthony and everything, but I have to check the submittal with Downs and see what we had put on there, because I know it's painted. I don't know if we decided it was gonna be gray or what. I'll have to pull the submittal, look at that, but you know, maybe the lower part is red to blend in with the brick, and then the upper part is left
White.
gray, so it's tying into the sky. You know, or you know, maybe the whole thing's red, but then you're gonna see a red ladder poking up. I don't know if that's worse.
Yeah, that would be worse.
That might be worse, but
Worse.
anything you could do with it, I think like painting it, as Mark's suggesting, was in my thought too, but I don't know what color it would be. But I think you should look at it, Jeff. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but the minute I saw that, I thought, oh, I hope that's not permanent, but I see it all
No,
the time.
I know, I sent an email to Downs. When was it, last week, Anthony, or 2 weeks? Suggesting that maybe we go with a paint color for it, but I didn't check the submittal yet. I haven't had time, so I'm gonna
Jeff,
have
I
to check the
just don't
submittal.
know what color you would paint it to get it to blend better. I mean, that gray right
Right.
now almost
Is
blends with
neutral.
kind of blends with the sky. Like if you looked up at tonight, you know, it wouldn't stick out. But if you're painting it white or something like that, I think
No,
it's gonna
no,
make
no, no.
too much.
Either gonna be
Yeah, we don't wanna
around
do
like a
that.
tree or,
think
or,
over time.
yeah, they do tend to disappear.
We'll forget it. We'll forget it.
But yeah, we installed that exactly where it was shown on the design
Yeah.
details of the drawing, so. And I get Jeff's idea of pushing it towards the back away from that front and center corner of the plaza.
More questions for Anthony?
I'll look at it, Patrick.
All right, thank you, Jeff, yeah.
More questions for Anthony before he continues? Okay, Anthony?
All righty, going down, requisitions and PCOs. First and foremost, I'd like to get committee approval tonight on our May 2025 requisition in the amount of $2,143,556.11.
So moved.
Right, we have Mr. Ike moving to approve
I'll
application
second it.
number 23, seconded by Patrick. Questions, comments? All right, hearing none, all in favor of approving application and certification for payment number 23 in the amount of $2,143,556.11, please say aye.
Aye. So close.
Was that Mr. Ike voting?
Yes, aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, we are unanimous.
All right, quick update on June. We are currently assembling that right now. It's almost the 20th of the month. We were going to provide this at the next committee meeting for approval. Going down the list, we have our GMP change order number 17. We're looking on committee approval tonight. That's based on PCOs that got approved at our last formal committee meeting in the amount of $86,595.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Ike, second by
Second.
Mr. Berman. Thank you. Digging through my pile, just looking for it. Number 17, right?
Yes.
Got it. Questions? Again, this is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 PCOs previously approved. All right, hearing no questions. All,
Can I just?
Patrick, yep.
One question related to those light poles. I know we approved it, and I know we said it was gonna take about 12 weeks to get them. Who will install them when they come in? Will Down still be on site?
We'll probably not be on site, but we'll have some sort of supervision when they're installing them.
Okay.
Yep,
But it won't be Public Works. It'll be,
correct. It will
It's
be
in the
by us.
contract.
It's in our contract to
Okay.
install them. It was
Okay.
just originally the material was supposed to be supplied by Public Works.
okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
You installing them or the electrician?
Our electrician installing them. Myself, no.
Great. Other questions on number 17? All right, all in favor of PCCO number 17 in the amount of $9,504.00. Please say aye.
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 No.
I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong line. I apologize for that. That was an individual one. $86,595.
Aye.
Please say
Aye.
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 Okay, we are unanimous. Sorry about that. That passes.
All righty, just a quick rundown of a contingency update. Our owner contingency is around $221,000, $222,000. And our CM contingency is around $145,000. We still have a remaining allowance update here, estimated $74,500 in our GMP, as well as our subcontractor allowance of about $120,000. Going down the list, budget and pending PCOs. We did have a PCO come up from our landscaper. Remember back in the day, we had the MDC water main where TSKP and the design consultants had to remodify or restructure the plaza entrance. Due to this, this is the landscaping cost for the plantings that got adjusted at the beginning of the job. We did get this cost the other day from our landscape contractor. I forwarded to Richter Segan and kind of explained, I'm like, why are we getting this now? So I guess, through conversation is they didn't want to purchase or they didn't want to price these plantings so far in advance before the planting season. And that's the reason why we got this cost now. We have an actual cost of $4,667 for that.
So the planting changed.
The planting changed, correct.
It's not just,
I-
it's the later.
yeah,
price.
Correct. It changed, correct. All right, so we're still going through that with Richter Segan, but I think he had a great conversation with our landscaper as well, because I was kind of blindsided by this a little bit. So I think we're all on the same page. I think the scope of work is clear and evident with Richter Segan and Jeff. But we'll get that hopefully formally submitted at the next committee meeting. 93, the Washbrook invasives that we did, we mechanically removed those. We have been working out some issues with what EDI needs to provide us for a credit. I know Richter Segan, as well as myself, have been back and forth. I believe that we're going to get a larger credit coming back, so that $7,220 I have in a budget should go down. PCO 94B, Patrick, this is what we were talking about the site work and grading and the concrete work for the actual banding for the plaza slab that we were talking about. As you can see, all that wood forming that they're doing, it's very tedious work. So this cost is from Manafort with an actual cost of $25,999. PCO 101, still trying to work something through with my electrician on the painting of the light fixtures. PCO 102, column line 3, wood soffit, still showing $1,000. I should be getting a credit back from South County on that line of wood there on the back.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. If you have a question on one of these right now, we could. All right, yeah, so we're still showing $1,000 budget item there. Go ahead, Clark.
Bring your microphone in there so everyone
Sorry.
can hear.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
So the painting of the light fixtures, you said you're still working on that?
I'm trying to make it go away.
When it says actual, what does that mean?
That's an actual cost. The actual cost is $3,011. And what I'm trying to do is negotiate something out with my electrician to make that go away.
Okay, so PCO 94B,
Mhm.
reintroduce paver banding. What have I forgotten there? Was it? we're
So
going
the
back to
first
the
one,
original-
94, was for our masonry to get the cost of the labor and material to install the paver system, the actual masonry units itself, and lay those down and in.
Excuse me. So to go back to the original plan, which was value engineered out of the job, is that?
Correct,
Okay.
correct. So this was part two of that, which is all the site and concrete work that they're doing now out there to create the bands and create the forms for the actual concrete pour itself.
And PCO 35B, was there a reason given for the change in landscape? I feel like I got MDC. Oh,
It's
Located that wall
okay.
at the corner.
Yeah, the whole plaza wall.
The wall moved. I don't understand, what changed landscaping wise, but I'm sure we'll get an explanation.
Yeah, absolutely.
eventually.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. All righty, where were we?
Sorry, the landscaping changed. I think it got more, but then the paver system, the plaza shrunk.
Right. 109, thanks. All right, PCO 109 is the garage ramp railing modifications that we went to state for a code mod for this. We did have some rework in there that we were taking care of some railing issues. That's a $6,500 budget item from our Miss Metal subcontractor. All those modifications that we have completed in there is what we brought to the state for the modification. So I know Jeff is still working on that diligently to get that formal paperwork passed. PCO 112 is the existing soil removals. Those are out of the site now, so hopefully I should be getting a weight ticket from the disposal facility on that. PCO 113 is the relocation of the AC1 roof due to size and piping lengths. We're in the process of reviewing with the design team, so on and so forth there. I do have a $30,000 budget plugged in there. I did get formal pricing from our mechanical subcontractor today to relocate this unit on the roof closer to the historical room of $15,000. But that didn't include any roof work yet or electrical. So I'm waiting to finalize pricing on that to get that in there.
Excuse me.
Yep.
Why is it being relocated? I'm sorry.
It's being relocated. So there's some history here on this one. But to make a long story short, is the unit that was in the mechanical equipment schedule was undersized for the length of the run. So for instance, when we started the unit up to make that long run to the historical, we weren't getting enough power, enough cold air to it because of the length of the run. So what happens from what I'm gathering from our mechanical contractor is if the actual split system unit was a larger size with a larger pipe run, it would be able to facilitate that long length of a run. So that was the first option that we were thinking about upsizing the unit there. The second option was to relocate the unit that we have installed on the mechanical space and move it closer to that room with a spot located on the roof. So there's some back and forth, I believe that, MJ Daly, our mechanical subcontractor, does have some skin in the game here. I just don't know what that dollar value is. I do believe that, us following the specification on the equipment schedule with the actual model and serial number that didn't deviate from, I beg to differ there a little bit. There might be some issues there with that. But right now I'm working this out with my team, my mechanical subcontractor, and the rest of the consultants in the team.
I have made it known to Anthony that my feeling on this is it is not the owner's problem. That this falls within the trade contractor and the design team somewhere in there. And I've asked him to, once he has all the numbers, to set up a meeting so we can discuss it and have appropriate parties take care of this.
That sounds good. Is there any responsibility on the subcontractor to review the engineer's calculations to see if, to verify, to double check it?
That's why I believe they do have some skin in the game here. Their vendor should have known that this is my unit, right? And this is the length of the run, but they don't pay attention to where the unit, where the head end's gonna be and the back end's gonna be, right?
If I can cut in there, Anthony, Clark, I
Yeah, go
think
ahead.
what it comes down to is if the vendor had realized what the run was and had to upsize the unit, there would have been a cost issue. What makes it worse is that they put it in without really looking at it, and that's where the culpability is. So that is what needs to be reviewed, as Mark stated. And once we have those numbers, we will have that meeting with Mark and TSKP and come to a resolution to bring to the table.
Perfectly said. All right. And then we have PCO 114, which is the revised elevator pit ladder due to Otis and the state inspection requirement of removing the one that we installed per contract, shortening it up, making it smaller in order to pass inspection. So we have a cost there, an actual cost of $3,143 for that work. So that takes us through our pending PCOs and our budget PCOs. Moving on.
If I comment,
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
seems
Clark.
crazy, the pit ladder. I mean, it's a pit ladder. We gotta pay 3,000 to, where is the culpability there?
My understanding is basically it's a code change. The elevator people, they write their own code when they feel like writing it.
They're basically an authority having jurisdiction on themselves, pretty much. So what happened was the cost there is to remove, they installed one, now they got to remove that, right? Go back to the shop, modify it, come back and reinstall a new one.
So the people who wrote the code got it wrong. Is that what you're saying? If they write their own code.
But it has to do with clearances, it has to do with switches within the elevator pit itself, where the sump pump or where the sump pit cover is. So in order to pass state inspection, I had to take the original one that we installed out, modify this new one to become smaller, bring it back and reinstall it.
So just to be clear, Anthony, the
Mhm.
shop drawings and everything showed the one you installed, but the inspector
Correct.
came, they looked at it and said they wanted you to change it.
Correct.
Was that Otis that installed the original one?
No, that was Bolivar, LP Gates. They did both.
Oh, so Bolivar came back and did
Yeah,
the
so you had
final
to do it. Yeah, do it twice. Yep.
Wait a minute, was Boulevard? I mean, I guess I'm confused. Isn't Otis responsible for that? Because they
No,
would
our
know the codes. and everything.
our scope of work has our Miss Metal subcontractor supplying and installing.
Jeff,
So
it was
if they were,
probably, it was
well, if they were
mismatched, most likely. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
if they were communicating, would that have been a non-issue if Otis already knew that ahead of time, or is that after the fact?
It's after the fact.
Sounds like the same thing as MDC.
Thank you.
No problem. All righty. Going down, looking for approval on 3 PCOs tonight. PCO 89, which is our structural clip and engineering requirement for the glue lamp trim panel supports. As you can see here, it's going to be a net zero cost of the project. We are applying it to our CM contingency. There was a lot of work involved between our Miss Metal subcontractor, our drywall subcontractor, and some other finished trades. But for the sake of the project, we like to get that in the past in the rear view. Like I said before, it was quite a bit of work that nobody saw. So we're looking for approval on PCO 89 with no additional cost of the project being applied to our CM contingency.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Berman, second by Mr. Ike. Questions? Comments? All right, all in favor of PCO number 89? I'm sorry, who's up? Does somebody have a question? All right, I will continue. All in favor of the motion to approve PCO number 89 in the net amount of 0, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion is passed unanimously. Thank you very much.
All right, PCO is 115, another billing, no cost of the project, but a drawdown from RCM contingency. This was provided additional labor for our progress cleaning to make this big final push here to get FF&E moving in. It was our directive to get more laborers, more of a larger crew from our final cleaner and our progress cleaner to help facilitate that happening. So we do have, I think it was about around $19,000 for additional labor for a good couple 6 weeks here to take us to the end. To get us ready for FF&E move-in. But again, like I said, we are applying this to our CM contingency, 0 net cost to the project of $0. Looking for approval on that.
By Mr. Ike, second by Mr. Berman. Questions? Sorry, I can't see all the hands, so if you do have a question out there, okay. Thank you.
Excuse
All
me.
right, hearing none.
This is Doug.
Doug,
Anthony, is there gonna be any more costs for cleaning coming up? I've noticed there's a
No,
lot.
we're done at the end of this week. The cleaners that you probably see now are our second round of final cleaners, which they
Okay.
owe us per contract.
Okay.
thank you, Doug. Any other questions? All right, all in favor of PCO number 115 in the net amount of 0, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Anybody abstaining? Okay, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
All right, and this last one again is going to be applied to our CM contingency. I believe it was a $3,800 charge for the notching of the acoustical wall panels at column line 5 due to the tight tolerances between the brick ties, the locations of the brick ties to structurally support the brick columns and piers on the interior of the building. So with that being said, we cannot remove the brick ties that are holding the brick back to the wall, but now we have to notch out certain areas of the back of the acoustical wall panels to fit around those brick ties. Again, due to the tight tolerances in the details, there's no other means to get these things to attach. So we are applying this unforeseen to our CM contingency.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Berman, second by Mr. Ike. Questions on PCO 116? Clark?
I missed when you were talking, AWP stands for.
Acoustical wall panel.
Other questions?
No, but those wall panels have been a problem. I mean, from the beginning, you know.
You know,
it's been
those
constant.
columns are really complex. There's a lot of things going on there. You
Yeah.
got structural steel, you have
Cold form
metal
framing.
framing, you got brick, you got drywall, and you got acoustical panels. So, you know, the coming together of all that needed a little adjustment here.
Yeah.
Questions? Any other questions? All right, all in favor of PCO 116 in the net amount of 0, please say aye.
Aye.
We are unanimous. Thank you very much. That passes. Pictures.
All righty, let's do it.
Anthony.
All right, we got some
Show us our
high
building.
res photos tonight, guys. All righty. This is the front entrance plaza here. You could see all the railing system for the Wagners up and in. Patrick, you could see all the forming. That's just one half of it,
Yeah.
right? We have the trench drain here that's going in. And then on the other side where my cursor is, you know, that's gonna be continuing with the paver banding forming. It is quite a bit of work there. But at the end of the day, the final product is gonna look absolutely beautiful, so.
Did you have an ETA?
On this whole area,
Yeah.
probably a couple weeks. Hopefully it doesn't rain anymore. All righty, just saying, just getting that out in the universe. All right, this is an interior shot. You could see books are in, they're shelved. To the right-hand side is where the fireplace is. This is looking out towards the back kids section area in the teens. This is the view going up the handicap ramp to the bridge. As you can see, all the handrail systems are up. The E-Pay decking is down. I don't know if you guys had a chance to walk it and actually walk up the bridge. It's quite something. Going down the picture log here, we have all our ceiling pads pretty much padded out down in that garage area. Believe it or not, these tiles are all, it seems like they're all individual pieces of sheetrock. They're they're extremely heavy. They are clipped down. I think one of those panels weighs about 20 pounds. It's pretty heavy duty stuff.
Well, it's open space. They have to
Yep.
resist the wind.
Yep. Going down, you could see here, we have our center rail that we installed. The concrete stairs are bored.
What's the finish on the rail?
I believe, Jeff, I think they're getting painted, so they're getting a high performance coat of paint on there. But the base coat right now that you're looking at is a galvanized. Alrighty, that's a shot looking at the south side of the building. You can see all the rails are up, columns painted, porches there. As you can see, topsoil's down. This is a shot looking out towards the children's area from the back workspace. You could see in the back there, we have all our glass system up. We have our cloud ceilings in. We have furniture moving in, flooring down.
The weather station's in there too?
Yeah, we have the weather station, yep. And this is a shot looking down at the main entrance and the main level. Shot looking the other way. So you see furniture's in, shelving's going up. Porcelain tile at the monumental stair going down, handrails in, that's gonna stay that, I believe, that aluminum look. We have our caps on. That's it.
All right. Final questions for Anthony or Scott? Patrick?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Anthony, I just wanted to know, so all the CMs, the CM contingency that you reported, does that include the change orders that we just went through? That's the amount after that's?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else for Anthony or Scott? Okay, guys, we thank you very much. Let's,
Yep.
let's go on to, is Glenn joining us tonight?
Glenn is not joining
He's
us
not.
today. I have a brief, update that he gave me today to provide. Other than the fact that he doesn't have any updates, other than that he's waiting for the bid specs from Richter and Segan for the children's garden and the parking lot, repave bid package.
Okay. All right, thank you, Joe, for that. Let's move on to our architect, Jeff, please.
Thanks, Mark. Well, I'll be short and sweet. There's a lot of email, phone correspondence lately. Fires being put out. Plenty of discussions, but we're working as a team continuously. The lead aspect, I'm pretty much complete. I think my part. I did reach out to Cynthia because I have a couple of questions on my remaining items, but I haven't heard back. I'll touch base with her again tomorrow. RFI and submittal review keep trickling in, so I respond as fast as I can on those. That's basically it for Prosser. I am going to go through my punch list or my site observation reports. There are a few things, but the main concerns in Downs is very aware of it, is the millwork, the glue lam beam on the, I guess it'd be the 4-line, and then the rubbing of the foundations, clean those up. Same with both sides of the ramp. So as Anthony said earlier, a lot of punch list items, and we're knocking them out. You know, I've already seen when I was there last time that they're taking care of things as we go. I just told them that as we continue, even though I'm supposed to only go twice, I'm willing to continue on the Tuesdays as a schedule of the owners' meetings and the other Tuesdays to start helping punch those things out as well. So we're going to work that out as a team, get that going. So it's looking good. We just got to make sure the millwork and the glue lam and the foundation concrete work looks good in the end. Other than that, it's feeling pretty good in there.
Okay,
That's it with Prosser.
Okay, go ahead. I'll let you, well, let's stay with Prosser. We did notice, at our owners meeting, we talked about the, southwest corner of the garage, interior of the garage has kind of an unfinished condition. It's, there's vinyl, vertical siding on the exterior, but on the interiors, the framing is exposed. And it is a garage
listen.
area, but we all looked at it and said it needs, a little bit more finish on there. And I know you
Yeah,
were
so
working on, coming up with something, affordable there, right?
Yeah, I already have. I sent the PR out to Downs. Basically, what we're going to do is since the horizontal two visor are there, already installed, we're going to infill between the vertical studs and use Simpson tie narrow profiles to anchor those studs and just paint those verticals. So we're not increasing the wood. We're adding PVC, and I've authorized Jason if he needs to have more seams than less to achieve that look. I gave them, as long as they're tight, I gave them free rein on that. So we'll just paint whatever is exposed on the verticals and then do the Simpson tie straps at the bottom, which are very narrow profiles. and then install the vertical PVC. The same look as the outside will be on the inside.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Other questions for Jeff on Prosser?
All right, McMahon, just to sort of build on what Glenn, his brief was through Joe. It looks like we're gonna start the pier construction. It looks like, I think they can't do it until August 18th, so I believe that's when it's gonna have to start. The canopies haven't changed as far as their delivery. That looks like they're gonna be installing them in the month of September, so we'll have to coordinate when it gets a little closer between those two areas. So if Glenn and I can get these piers in earlier than later, then I can hedge the Cowell people and Structures Unlimited to get those canopies installed. I also gave him, I think I told you last time that the scupper details, the rain chains are all submitted to Glenn to get pricing. That was the only missing piece. I hedged our Richter Segan in terms of the playground package for Glenn, or not the playground, the children's garden package for Glenn. So they've committed to June 24th, which is next Tuesday. So I'm expecting the full set from in my hands that I would like to review quickly before I release them to Glenn, just to double check everything. So the next week he should have them ready to go and to get estimates from everything. So I've been pushing the team to get that out soon because I know when the canopy is going in, we'd like to get that children's garden in, soon after at some point. I don't know how soon, but it depends on how the bids come in.
You're gonna have
I think that's it.
thing on the cost, you're gonna have at least a 21-day RFP cycle plus an approval cycle after that.
Yeah, I'd like to, now that we have a date that we're going out to bid on the children's garden, just meet with Joe, myself, and Glenn. Jeff, we might have some questions for you, or Richter Segan, just to try and pin down what this schedule, the remaining schedule looks like.
Sounds good.
As best we can at this point. Obviously, Glenn has made it clear that really until we receive bids, have a low bidder, all the low bidders on the garden, and talk to them about durations, that may change. So it's a bit of a moving target right now, but I think we could take a pretty good stab at the remaining work and schedule it at McMahon.
Well, the good news is that it's outside work. So once the canopies at the entries are done, I think we can talk to Glenn and I can talk to the teams to see if there's minimal impact on the library. I'll have to see how that works out.
Well, right. I mean, there's the timing as well as the impact, so we can all work together and figure out, when does it need to be closed and for how long?
Agreed.
That's the goal. All right. Questions for Jeff? All right, Jeff. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's move on to Doug at Colliers.
Yay. Whoa. Okay, so got the tri-state and special testing. Tri-state continues to come out. They've pretty much at this point they're done except for the asphalt. Paving is scheduled to take place next week. So by the end of next week, Tri-State should be pretty much complete with the project, and Michael Horton can write their final sign off. So actually, I think Anthony, you mentioned that you had that sign off from Horton. There's one invoice in from Tri-State commissioning. Van Zelm is continuing to work on commissioning, coming out, working with the vendors, and there's an invoice in for them to be reviewed. FF&E, McMahon's moves and furniture are complete. Prosser, the furniture is, we're missing probably either missing or incomplete about 4 to 5 items, and all those supposed to be in the next few weeks. So furniture is pretty much, for the most part, complete. It looks great, coming along very well. Moves are well on their way, and that's going great. We're looking to be done with moves by the end of next week. But they got a couple holidays. Myers will not be there tomorrow because of Juneteenth, and they're gonna take off next Monday to give the library kind of a chance to, look at what's there and kind of, regather their thoughts about some organizational things. So, but they'll be back next Tuesday and Wednesday to kind of wrap up, and then we should start breaking down things at the the atrium. So by the end of next week, we should be in pretty good shape with Myers. They should be pretty much done. I believe that's it. We have several invoices from the furniture vendors that are been submitted that I've reviewed and been submitted for approval. That's pretty much about it.
All right.
Questions?
Questions for Doug? Patrick?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Chair. Hey Doug, I just wanted to know given that we're having this unresolved issue with the historical room,
Yeah.
can those materials be moved into that room if there's no air conditioning? Or what will we do with those?
Right now that we've been bringing things in for the short term, our understanding, and talked to Elizabeth and Allison. They're okay for the short term, being in
Okay.
a regular air conditioned building. But over the long term, we want to get those in a properly conditioned and humidity controlled space.
Okay.
For,
And what,
for a few weeks,
see.
they should be fine.
okay.
I see Chris has his hand up
Oh,
about that. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say we made a decision partially because we know things are going to still be worked on potentially, and that unit needs to be reached potentially. So we, at the moment, have stored the history stuff in the conference room, but we will evaluate that going forward if that needs to remain. But we decided not to load that room up at the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
So it is in the conference room. I
Mhm.
think it's going to be okay for now. My only worry would be when the AV vendor gets in there, if it's in their way. So we'll figure it out. But we'll have more discussions with the team as we go forward to just make sure, I don't want moving it in if it's going to be a problem, but if it's not, we'll move it in. So we'll evaluate in the next few weeks.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, Chris, for that. If the solution is to move the outdoor a piece of the system up to the high roof, then my understanding is nothing would change in the room itself. All that would just remain and we wouldn't be doing any work there, but
Mhm.
hopefully that becomes the scenario. But, thanks
Yeah.
for being flexible about that.
And just with furnishings, just to let you know, speaking with Allison, we do have, and Chris, there are a couple pieces of furniture that have been claimed by some of the departments in town. And I know Chris and the staff are continuing to try and talk to departments to find homes for any of the other pieces of furnishings at the atrium that they can spread around town. So
Well, Doug, how about the friend space? Have we started to set that up?
no, we don't. My understanding is we don't currently have an approved plan from TSKP and for that space yet. We have all the materials over there. Myers is ready to put it in. We just don't have a layout that I guess meets all the concerns, requirements, whatever's going on. So I know Elizabeth and Jeanette have been talking regularly, but we don't expect a plan until next week on that. Because
Okay.
Elizabeth is out this week.
Right.
But
Yeah, I
we're
see,
ready to
I
put
see,
it in.
sorry, I see Jeanette has furniture all over my plan, so she's hustling to get it out, get something done. So I think she needs to touch base with Elizabeth. So
Yeah.
Doug's correct.
All right. Other questions for Doug? No, Doug, we thank you. This
Yeah,
is,
sure. Okay.
you're in the trenches, doing a great job, so thank you.
Yeah, it's coming along very nicely. It's going to be a beautiful space.
All right, let's go to bills. We have bills to pay, Joe. And after that, Chris, we'll hear from you on where we stand with the technology.
Okay, first one up is for Myers for the move. Relocating from the atrium to McMahon, approved by Colliers in the amount of $5247.96.
So moved.
All right, move for approval by Mr. Ike, seconded by Mr. Berman. Questions? All in favor of the Meyer invoice, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Anybody abstaining? We are unanimous. Thank you. Approval on that. Next.
Okay. Next, we have an invoice from Atlantic for 38,496.38. This is for the AV items, but Chris, I don't believe, do we have these items?
That Atlantic invoice is for the network equipment, and as of today, we have all of it. As of today, though.
Very nice. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Ike,
Second.
second by Mr. Berman. Questions? All right, all in favor of the Atlantic invoice for $38,496.38, please say aye.
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 All right, we are unanimous. Motion approved. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't advance that. So that was the Atlantic.
That was it.
Now we have Colliers for services through May 31st amounting to $9,836.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Ike, seconded by Mr. Berman. Questions? All in favor of the Collier's invoice for $98.36, please say aye.
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 Okay, we are unanimous. Thank you for that. Approved. Next.
Okay. Now we have a total of 3 invoices from Insalco for Prosser Library on the furniture that we brought in for FF&E. And those 3 invoices 11,599, 600, and 601. Those 3 total $87,931.34.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Ike, second by
Second.
Mr. Berman. And have you taken, I see that Doug marked up the 11,599
He did
number
all of them.
invoice.
There's 599, there is 600 with his in the center and 601.
I've got a different.
I have a
total
different
here,
total, yeah.
Joe.
Well, he took off.
Each one is total at the top and they total up to 87,931.
I have,
One's 81,820.17, one's 40,33.45, one's 2077.72.
Um,
403,345.
the total I show is 82,077.72.
That's because Doug did not approve one invoice.
No, I did approve. Let's try.
We're 6771?
I think,
So where's the 5,000?
I think the confusion is number 11. Can you put up number 11601, the third one?
20.
That shows a total in and of itself of 82,000.
45.
Oh, for just that invoice.
Right, that is the approved value on each of those invoices. So we have the one there for 82.
Okay.
So we,
Let's walk through them individually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go through each one of them.
Yeah, I've got 11,599. Doug adjusted it.
Yes,
With a total of 81,820 and 17 cents.
Right.
That's the adjusted figure. We
Correct.
all in agreement about that
Yep.
amount?
599.
Yeah, and then the next one, 11,600. The total is $4,033.45.
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
We're set taking each one of them separately?
well, just for clarification here,
Okay, so then.
and make sure you're in to confirm your total is correct, because
The first one, which is 81,820.17, and that's invoice 11,599.
right.
So moved.
Well, we have a motion on all 3.
Yeah.
But let's get the correct amount for the 3, because I'm questioning the third one, 11,601. 11,601, I'm seeing a total of $82,077.72.
That is, yes,
That's correct.
that is correct. Yep.
And now.
So when you add up the three, we're well in excess of what you
Yeah.
said, Joe?
Yep, you're right. I have the wrong number for the others, for the other one. I had 207,772. That's the wrong number.
Want to give us a corrected number for all three combined? And then we'll keep the motion if Bob Ike is okay with that.
Like second.
Yep, I'm okay.
Okay, so we have 81. 17 plus 33, 45 plus 82. 77, 72 comes out to
All right, so the motion now is for approving three invoices for a total of $167,931.34.
Accept it.
Okay,
Accept it.
accepted by Mr. Ike and Mr. Berman. Any questions? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Anybody abstaining? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Next.
okay. Now we have one from Interscape for 20,628.28.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Ike,
Second.
second by Patrick. Thank you. This is,
Except for McMahon.
Sounds like furniture.
Interscape is
Mm,
more of the FF&E.
That is FF, and that is all
oh,
of the,
right, this is, all right, Doug, this is your stuff, FF.
All
Right.
F&E.
all the
FF&E.
office furniture for the second floor.
Gotcha. Moved by Doug. Questions?
This says for McMahon,
Yeah.
shipped to McMahon.
All right. well,
yeah, in the upper
yeah,
left. it
I
does
didn't
say-
catch that, but yeah, they'll have to adjust that.
So this is Prosser.
Yeah, this is Prosser. Yeah.
That is Prosser.
Okay.
That's wrong.
I did not
Okay.
catch that. Thank you.
All right, other questions?
Does that, can that be approved as is, or do we need to?
I'll need a new
have-
invoice.
We'll need a new invoice. Okay. I will, if you
Right.
can approve the amount, I will get a new invoice issued.
All right.
With the correct address, because this is Blue Hills, or not Blue
I'll
Hills.
hold that. Yeah.
Right, it's, yes.
All
Nope.
right, all in favor of approving the Interscape invoice in the amount of $20,628.28. Please say aye.
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 All right, we are unanimous on that. Thank you. Motion passes.
Caveat that I'm holding that.
Yeah, you're gonna get a corrected
Yep.
address.
I will send them a note right now.
Okay, Robert H. Lord, for the tables for $22,055.67.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Ike,
Second.
second by Mr. Berman. Questions? All right, all in favor of the Robert H. Lord Company invoice in the amount of $22,055.67, please say aye.
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 I believe we are unanimous. Thank you very much. That passes.
Tri-State. And we have Tri-State Materials Testing, as we spoke of before, for a total of $465 for the soil inspection.
Moved by Mr. Berman,
Second.
second by Mr. Ike. Thank you very much. Questions? All right, all in favor of the Tri-State Materials Testing Lab invoice in the amount of $465, please say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. 2 to go. That's what I have.
That's correct. And then I have a question. Next is Van Zelm, for $3,175.20.
So moved.
Moved by Mr.
Second.
Berman, second by Mr. Ike. Questions for our commissioning agent here? All right, all in favor of the Van Zelm invoice, in the amount of $3,175.20, please say aye.
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 And the motion passes. Thank you very much. Next,
And lastly, we have
ooh, but.
WB Mason for $32,080.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Ike,
Second.
second by Mr. Berman. Questions? All right, all in favor of the WB Mason invoice, $32,080, please say aye.
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 Motion passes.
Now,
Thank you very much.
Last meeting, we tabled a GeoQuest bill that came to a total of $6,718.80 for the lab analysis. And we decided to hold that. Has there been any resolution of
Who was
this?
looking at? Anthony, were you
Yeah,
reviewing that?
With GeoQuest, yeah, I have a call into Andrew last week, but never called him back up.
Okay, so we're not ready to take action on that then.
I gotta find out which one that was for. I think it was some clean soil testing, some soil that we did pull out, came back clean. I need to get that.
Okay, well, let us know for our next meeting,
Still hold
please.
that.
Yes, please.
You got it.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Other items from the committee, why don't we, Chris, you have an update for us on technology?
Yeah, so far things are going pretty well. We did have a major piece of equipment, as I mentioned today, arrive that we need to kind of start the whole network install. So Atlantic will be back out. The plan is on Monday to install the hardware. In the meantime, our AV vendor Soundstage has been at the site, has worked with Jason on making sure that the projector in that community room, because they're putting up the ceiling, they would know exactly where to place it and how to place it. He also started looking at issues, and Jeff was involved on how to put up the intercom speakers. We're going to kind of maybe relocate where they're going to go based on what will be the most, the easiest, but also the most aesthetically pleasing. The other thing is we've had, it's kind of, the timing's all working out. We have a bunch of computers and technology coming to the atrium because that's where we knew we could receive it safely and make sure we were there. And then Meyer is bringing it over, and it's been working really well. They've just been picking up pallets, picking up equipment right off the dock and bringing it over. And so far, I think almost everything's over. So things are going smoothly. I'm hoping that Atlantic has everything done Monday, Tuesday, and then the next step is the actual configuration. And there is a possibility where I might come to the committee for funds for this because we lost our network engineer in town, the town IT department. He left the town, and Warren Plummer is looking for some funds to help hire a network consultant, probably Atlantic actually, to help us do the configuration. I may have some funds for that in my budget, but I want to take a look and see what we can do, how much it's going to be. So they will likely be assisting us with getting the final configuration so everything's talking. And once that's done, the plan is staff first, of course. We got to get staff over there and get set up to work. Then public PCs and all that will be done. And I think the thing that's going to, obviously, we all wanted the package out sooner in terms of the AV. That's going to be the thing that drags a bit. And, but we're working on it. And, once he draws up his puts his drawings together, and starts getting the equipment in, I think it'll be fairly quick, but it's a lot of AV. So that'll be probably worked on right up to opening. So
That's great, Chris. We were just chatting before the meeting, and we sort of tried to set a goal. I don't know if it's possible, but our next meeting, which we'll be talking about, is July 16th, and perhaps maybe we'll be ready to have it in the conference room at Prosser. A lot of things have to happen, but,
A lot of things would have to
that'd be a
happen.
great goal. That'd be a great goal. We
It's a
could do
nice
that.
idea though.
Yeah, nice idea. Let's see what happens.
So we're gonna skip a meeting?
Yeah, that is our next item on the agenda. Let's just see if anybody has, anything else from committee members?
Chris, that's not skipping a meeting. That's the next meeting on the schedule.
That's right. Right. It is the next agenda item. We'll
Oh,
cover
okay.
that in a second. Any other committee members? Okay, we're good. All right. So, yes, so our future meetings, we are now officially, our regular meetings are now scheduled for once every 4 weeks and rather than every 2 weeks. If we need additional special meetings, we will not hesitate to have them and notify everybody. But let's see if we can stick to this every 4 weeks now that there's a lot less on the agenda other than paying some final bills. And Anthony keeps wiping things off of his report and things get done. So everything looks good. Everything looks good. Public, any public members of the public with a hand up? No? All right. We thank anybody who's attended for that. With that, we'll have a motion to adjourn
So moved.
by Patrick, second
Second.
by Clark. Thank you very much. You're beating out Mr. Ike for that. All in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
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 All right, we are adjourned. I thank everybody and
Yeah.
No one was there.
have a great 4th of July.
Good night, everyone.